Redditors who grew up poor, besides practical money-saving measures, what were the unwritten social expectations of your world growing up? Don't ask for anything because you won't get it. Never tell your friends that you couldn't afford food or give them any clue about what it's like at home. My mother used to ask me if I told anyone how we live, and that's when I started questioning our situation. I once told some friends we had mushrooms growing in our house. I thought it was cool. My mom was angry and told me to never tell anyone again. I realized as I got older why she was angry. The floor of our house was rotting, thus the mushrooms. But she couldn't afford to get it fixed. She was worried CPS would take me away for unsafe living conditions. In the UK, do not answer the door. Do not answer the phone. When the man is looking through the window, make sure you can't be seen. Do not tell anyone who knocks on the door where the parents work. This turned out to be doorstep lenders like Provident, no idea how they are still around these days. In the UK too, and this was a nightmare for me when I was a kid. Parents used to work and kid me always cowered in fear whenever the man came around and knocked. I still remember the way his shadow moved against the curtains. I was convinced he would get in and drag me to court because my dad owed someone money. Adult me doesn't owe anyone a damn thing, but I still get anxious when Teresa knock on the door or when the phone rings and I don't recognize the number. Your comment took me back to trying breath silently and being terrified of coughing. Good for you being debt-free, I am the same and truly grateful for it. Sorry you had to experience that as well. And yes, I can relate to the trying not to cough part. As an asthmatic kid, I coughed a lot. And it was pure torture trying to hold it in while someone was snooping about outside. It's so liberating not having a debt hanging over you. I'm glad you're in the same fortunate position. Not eating lunch because you either just ate breakfast or dinner's only a few hours away, you'll be fine. I still have trouble remembering to eat lunch. Same, my husband always stays on me to be sure I've eaten because I'll go without, either because I forgot to eat or else because I will go without to make sure everyone else got enough food, even seconds, before I'll eat. Also, growing up, people or family were always fed in a certain order at meals: elderly, men, women over 40-ish, young kids, the rest of the women and any other kids teens. Edit, grew up strict Southern Baptist in Western North Carolina. Wow, in my family the youngest eat first and no adults even think about eating until all children have food. In my family, the youngest bathed first, then siblings in order of age. Same bath water. Once a week. In the summer, bathing took place in the creek behind our house. The neighbor kids joined in. Only ivory soap because it floats. Lots of foraging for food and lots of homegrown food. I started working summers doing farm labor at 10 or 11 and hid my money in my room. As a young adult, when I had a steady job, having money left over after paying bills was super uncomfortable and foreign to me. I always got rid of it as quickly as possible, sending it to my sister and cousin who also struggled. They, in turn, would send me their extra money when they happened to have any. I still remember the panic of having a positive bank account balance. My comfort zone was living paycheck to paycheck because it's all I'd known. Funny how poverty as a child can shape your entire life. We weren't allowed to do any kind of extracurricular activities. So, no instruments, no joining any kind of sports or Girl Scouts or anything that required an upfront investment for uniforms or the season. Walmart shoes. My dad once said I wasn't really in need of glasses, that I just wanted to look like all my four-eyed friends. Lol, spoiler alert, totally needed them, off-brand everything. This makes me sad for the extracurriculars. It's insane how much money you need for sports and instruments, even buying used. They're so good for kids and should be available to everyone. Where I went to school, a lot of the extracurriculars had grants where the rest of the parents would pitch in to pay the fees of the families that truly couldn't afford it. It was an economically diverse school with a pretty even distribution of families from food stamps to millionaires. Parents often need to request these grants. Many won't. Yup, my parents would never accept help or handouts. Keep your hair brushed, your clothes clean, and be articulate and polite in all circumstances. We were not going to be trashed just because we were poor. Also, no wearing ripped jeans, even if it's the style. We're not spending money on new pants that look like old worn-out pants. AC was only for company. I lived in Florida and didn't know I could use the air conditioner without having someone over until I moved out of my parents' home. If someone buys you food at a restaurant, order as cheaply as possible even if they tell you order whatever you want. Used to get death glares from parents if I ordered something $10 or over at a place where average prices was $10. If you can get a burger and fries for $8, you better be eating a burger. I grew up solidly middle class, but I always do this if someone else pay for the meal. I just hate it when people spend too much money on me, it makes me feel guilty. Difference between you choosing it and it being forced on you. When I was visiting my grandma for her 90th with my mom, her bill took everyone to a really nice place and I nearly melted down cause everything was well over 10 and I was in a panic. My strategy is to casually ask the person paying what they're thinking about ordering, then look at how much that is and pick something at or under that price. Of course, there's always the chance they'll say they're between a $20 salmon and a $40 steak, in which case I go with somewhere around the average. Edit. Thanks for the awards. I hope this helps people feel less anxious and enjoy themselves more. This is great advice. To you, in general, not you specifically, a $10 meal is expensive, but to the person taking you out, a $30 meal is normal, so going with a $20 won't seem out of the ordinary to them. Don't do anything bad or illegal. But if you do, don't get caught. Bail is expensive. Lawyers and court fees are expensive. And synonymously, never call 911, the police, and only go to the doctor when it's needed. #X200B, edit, the definition of needing is widely different for poor people. Edit 2, can you guys please lead worse lives so a comment like mine doesn't affect you as much, and I don't have to deal with feeling powerful with how much karma I have. I am absolutely begging you at this point, which I can see how ironic that is. Sarcasm. Never see a doctor or go to the emergency room unless you are actually dying. And, if you touch the thermostat, you will be dying. My dad made us brush our teeth for 5 to 10 minutes every night. And we never got sweets. Because we couldn't afford to go to the dentist. I think I went 2, maybe 3 times until I got a job with benefits in my early 20s. My teeth are crooked AF but surprisingly escaped with very few cavities. Edit, I do count myself very lucky. There are much worse alternatives. Though I was fortunate not to have many cavities, the slightly excessive brushing and lack of proper dental care resulted in me having very poor gums. I remember the first time I went for a cleaning. I think I was 21. They basically had to jackhammer the plaque and crap out, and it hurt so bad and bled so much. But that fresh, out of the chair, squeaky clean feeling of that day is burned into my memory. It sounds like he truly cared about your teeth and did his best with what he could do. Seems like other parents I've heard of in this situation have an oh well attitude and end up with terrible problems with their teeth. Nothing wasted. Mom had a dish called mixed up stew, which was basically a little minced beef, mashed potatoes and any leftovers from the fridge. Good menu planning. She never called it that, but one meal led to the next with last night leftovers included. Failing that, she always had a soup on the go using bones from chicken, dried barley and, yet again, leftovers. Thing is, they were all delicious, but that could be me just remembering her fondly. To this day I am still confused by people who seem to hate leftovers. It comes up a lot when Teresa discussion on whether it's cheaper to cook versus eat out. People who find it expensive to cook want something fresh and brand new every day. Whereas I'll make a lasagna, about 6 portions, freeze it and have it whenever during the week month. It confuses me even more when that person is British, considering how popular pre-made frozen food is here, and how many people find themselves at Frankie and Benny's, probably our version of Olive Garden, or TGI Fridays. I understand that cooking takes time and effort, which is why it doesn't make sense to me to throw away leftovers or not make a little bit extra. My partner and their family hate leftovers. I think it has something to do with how they've generally always had money growing up. I wouldn't call them rich, but they were comfortable. I was so surprised my first Thanksgiving at their house when they organized the meal to have bare minimum leftovers. To me, that's the whole point of Thanksgiving. You have leftovers for days so you don't have to cook and get to enjoy at minimum 2 meals of Thanksgiving food. That post-Thanksgiving turkey sandwich with turkey sandwich spread and a good amount of black pepper is what I look forward to. I know, right? For me it's a sandwich with turkey, mashed potatoes, stuffing, and just a smear of cranberry sauce with Duke's mayo. But no, these people were pathological, to the point of saying, okay, we have 5 people coming and they'll probably have 3 slices of turkey ham each, so we're only going to order 15 slices of each, so there's just enough. One year I finally put my foot down and said I'll either cook or purchase a cooked turkey for Thanksgiving, and I'll take every single scrap home with me if I have to, just so I can have a damn turkey sandwich for lunch the next day. If a lot of people are coming, I will roast one turkey and fry another to make sure there is plenty left over. Also, turkey noodle soup with meat and stock from the turkey carcasses.